How's it going today, guys? In today's video, we're going to discuss the differences, a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on the differences between accounts payable and accounts receivable. So as someone who has obviously held both accounts payable and accounts receivable jobs, as someone who is hired for both these positions and is still entrenched with it on a day-to-day basis, I thought this would be an interesting discussion to go more in depth than simply the textbook definitions of both roles. So for beginners, I'm going to read the literal textbook definition of what accounts payable is. The dictionary, Oxford Languages, states, accounts payable is money owed by a company to its creditors. Long and short, accounts payable is literally you owing somebody else money on terms. I'm trying to talk about accounting in a not simple perspective. So terms is when people give you 30 days to pay for something, 45 days, 60 days. Basically, the money isn't due immediately. So it winds up going to what's called accounts payable because it's bills to be paid at a later date. Outside of somebody who is able to enter, track, and pay out bills, what I look for in an accounts payable person is somebody who has an absolutely, I'll say, bubbly personality. Reason being, there are going to be times where there are issues, whether it's financial issues, whether it's product issues, service issues, where you don't want to pay those bills immediately when they're due. And why it's important to have somebody in accounts payable or be able to put on that cap yourself if you're the one doing accounts payable is because people are going to be much more likely to give forgiveness or be a bit more lackadaisical on the pressure of collecting the money from you if you're super positive, uplifting, and almost bubbly, like I said. I always look for and strive to make my accounts payable people the angels in any situation. As the accountant, the CFO, whatever you want to call it, I always want to be the asshole. I want them to use me as the reason that a bill is not going to get paid because I want them to have that relationship. So, as I said, we can buy more time to pay bills when needed. Another thing that I look for in accounts payable individuals is their ability to basically dictate the importance of what needs to be paid and when. Not that I don't have that background information as the CFO, but in a world where majority of companies don't have unlimited money and sometimes have to pick and choose which bills need to be paid, I need to have someone in that role who has a good sense or handle on what bills are most important so that they can bring that to me and say, hey, or if I tell them, hey, we have $10,000 or $100,000 to spend this week on the check run, what are the checks that are most important? And they can say, well, these are the people that are going to send us to, maybe collections, or these are the people that are the loudest and the biggest complainers. These are the ones that they're going to stop our assembly. They're going to stop sending us material. I need them to be able to kind of manage the importance of who needs to be paid and when, and get to know the vendors to be able to make that determination. Now on to accounts receivable. I will once again give you the textbook definition, this time from Investopedia, of what accounts receivable is. So accounts receivable is the balance of money due to a firm for goods or services delivered or used but not yet paid for by the customers. Basically, it's the exact opposite of accounts payable. You gave somebody a good or a service, you did something for someone, and they didn't pay you immediately, so you've given them terms of when they need to pay you back. What do I look for in accounts receivable outside of the basics? The basics being able to receive checks and do standard collections, calling for these outstanding balances, and entering the cash then when it comes in to take it off of the book so that we no longer think we're owed that money. What I look for in accounts receivable individuals is somebody who's kind of the opposite of accounts payable, which is very fitting because they are obviously opposites. I look for someone who is, I'll use the word pit bull, but I'll say a kind pit bull. I did a video of how to master accounts receivable some time ago, but I really look for someone that can be uber sweet, but on the flick of a day or, of a change of a day, can then absolutely be a pit bull and be able to collect that balance. So as I said, on the accounts payable side, you want someone who's going to be bubbly because accounts payable has a big influence on when things are going to get paid. So I look for somebody who understands this on the accounts receivable side and knows that at first, you should not approach things with a fire attitude. You should be, hey, this bill is past due, kind of the same bubbly type of personality. But I need someone who has that, kind of warrior mentality of when a bill gets to be enough past due where it's a problem, they can pick up the phone and be able to convince, and I'll say strongly encourage a bill to be paid. And there is a really big art to that because, as I said, on the accounts payable side, they're the ones who have a lot of influence over what gets paid. So you want someone who's going to be able to influence that accounts payable individual to see to it that you get your money. So that would be the first characteristic or kind of personality trait that I look for in an accounts receivable individual. The second thing that I look for is somebody who has a skill in basically noticing trends, and specifically payment trends. I want to know, not that there aren't reports that can tell me, but I want to know that so-and-so customer always pays us 15 days late, or always pays us 30 days late. And this is a problem child. These are our best customers, because then as a CFO, I can know where to best allocate my time and therefore resources to corralling the problem children in. Without the AR person necessarily having that skill, then I'm spending time to try to figure those type of things out. So having an AR person who is masterful in collecting the balances, as I said, has that personality type, and then can give me basically an outline of who the problem people are, really completes the cycle of a well-rounded accounts receivable individual, at least in my mind. So once again, this was a little bit of an unorthodox approach to talking about accounts payable and accounts receivable. I hope you found it to be more valuable because I know that this is an area that a lot of people basically just talk super high level, and I wanted to, really make this beneficial for people who may be in the field or looking to hire these roles within the field, so they have a little bit more, a different perspective in who they should hire for that role or who they need to be in these roles. So thank you so much for watching. If there are ever any topics that you would like to see me discuss regarding accounting or anything whatsoever, feel free to shoot me a DM. But I look forward to talking with you all again soon.